Hey everybody, so today I am with Nagvendra in Gurgaon at his residence. Nagvendra had a phenomenal transformation of more than 24, 25 kilos, 25 to be exact. And I'm going to ask certain things from him and get to know about this splendid transformation. So, Nagvendra, tell me, what was what inspired you to start this first of all?
Well, I think my first inspiration was that I was not able to spend any time with my kid, play with him. I would feel lethargic and tired all the time. And kind of seeing him grow up at such a pace and missing out on those growing years, not being able to run behind him in the park, not being able to, because kids, they have a lot of energy. Me, on the other hand, I was just the opposite, right? So yeah, that was the biggest motivation. And the second thing was, I kind of realized that the amount of energy and the amount of dedication and the amount of focus that my job demands out of me, I was not doing it any justice. So that was the second motivation. Because, if I feel that if anything in life it was worth doing well. You shouldn't be just doing compromises or just putting in half-hearted efforts. I wanted to, but then my body was not allowing, right? So I can safe to say that I can today do both of these things with equal zeal, and I've never felt better in my life.
Nice. I mean, obviously, when you lose 25 kilos, you definitely have lost a lot, and you feel much lighter, much happier. So, any compliments or anything that you got from your friends, relatives about this transformation?
Oh, definitely. So let me begin with my wife. So, she has been quite happy with me. And obviously, she would be like, who is this guy? So, for our, I would say, 7th year of being married, she has been gifted with a new husband. I've been replaced under warranty, as you could probably say. She's quite happy with that. The other thing is that my peers and my colleagues, I feel that they have also been very inspired with my transformation. They all kind of could have related to what was going on with me, and now they kind of ask me how I did this, and it feels good, to be able to fit in some good clothes. Also, so it's a very funny thing. So on my Facebook feed and all the ad recommendations that show up, it will show me plus size clothing in stores. And in fact, it had become very difficult to be able to find brands that I could actually wear because it had become so huge. So triple XL is not something that you can easily find. I would have to go to these international stores to buy clothes for myself, which I don't have to do anymore. Nothing custom. I can just walk into a Raymond store probably and just get a blazer or a jacket from there, and I can wear it.
Fantastic. So, so apart from weight, what was your biggest overcoming, to say, or basically some health benefit that you got apart from just the weight?
I would say definitely the focus, because I had realized it later on, but I think I was suffering from bouts of depression as well. I wouldn't want to get out of the bed. I would feel negative all day. I would just generally, I had stopped feeling good, in general. So nothing would kind of make me happy. That translates into other things in your life. So, you start spending money, you start buying unnecessary stuff just to find that happiness, or try and, hang out with people whom you would generally not hang out with, probably are not as motivated as you would like the people around you to be, right? So that was the thing, focus, and then I would say like I said, energy. So I barely had any energy. So let me give you this very funny example. I travel a lot for my work, right? So I have completely become aware of all the handicapped lifts and the escalators and where they are exactly on the railway stations and the airports. So I don't have to walk much, right? Even so, if you make me walk on a flat surface, I could walk for like a kilometer, no worries, right? But when it came to climbing stairs, I would not be able to climb half a fleet of stairs. And so, my positive experience, the first thing that kind of struck me, and this is not talking just about the weight loss, was my third week into this. I was at the Chandigarh railway station. I don't know if you've been there, but if you go there, so there's an escalator that connects platform 1 from 2, and it's huge, it's like 2 stories high. I was on the phone, I was just not paying any attention. I was walking towards the escalator like my regular self, and I also had a lot of luggage. And then when I got there, I just suddenly realized it's not working, right? So well, I did what I would do usually. I just kind of turned around and I started walking away from it. But then I realized there was a rush of people behind me, so I couldn't do that. So on my feet, I had no time. I just had to climb up those escalators by myself, and I was thinking to myself, you know what, I'm gonna die. But that is what usually used to happen. Strangely and surprisingly, nothing happened. I could just climb up in the jiff. I had luggage. I had like 20 kilos worth of luggage. I was at the top of the flight of the stairs. I was not feeling dead. That was the first positive. Second thing, that my breath was normal. I was not breathing heavy, or I was not down on my knees. I was like, I'm done. No, nothing of that sort. So that was the first, I would say, realization, or the first positive effect that I noticed, and that incident has kept me going today. Because I never want to be that person again who's not able to climb stairs. I mean, come on, man. Everybody should be able to climb stairs, right? It should be just natural.
So, when you came first time, you approached us for the weight loss. You had several health issues that had popped up in your.
Oh yes, most definitely. So I was diagnosed with diabetes, say back in 2014. That was the first time, and and it was completely by surprise. So you don't find out about sugar till later in life, and something else starts to go wrong, right? So I kind of accidentally happened to discover it because I was going through these regular health checkups for my insurance coverage. That was the first time I realized I had sugar, and then I tried to kind of work with it. I was also on allopathic medicines. My fasting sugar would never be less than, at its peak, it would never be less than 180. And this I'm talking about 12 hours of fasting. My HbA1c at its best would hover somewhere around 7%, and my cholesterol as well, so it would never be less than 200. And my liver, which I kind of later on found out when I got these tests done, that it was under a lot of stress. All the numbers were off the chart, so something which is supposed to be 50, it was 1200. So I think that says a lot. And so when I started, I have been getting my blood work done every month, and my fasting as of today is never over 74, 75. My HbA1c is in later 4% now, so it would be 4.7, 4.6, which I never thought was possible. My cholesterol, well, it is I would say it's better than normal. And yeah, so those have been some of the health benefits. And I also had like a weird issue which I kind of consulted cardiologist about, that my resting heartbeat, it would never be less than 100 or the late 90s. And doctors told me that it's just the way it is. And I had difficulty sleeping because when I would sleep, I could just hear my heart pumping in my ear, tuk, 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 tuk. It'll just keep on going. And I thought, okay, probably this is something that I have to live with. And now, so I wear that smartwatch, right? So which gives me a resting heart rate as well. It is never over 80. And I have that problem is completely gone, where I could just hear my own, heart beating. And I think that's wonderful as well. So these are some of the things.
Amazing, a lot of things really.
You've looked at the reports, right?
So I'll just put up the before after the reports as well, because it's like a significant change. All the parameters, it's normal right now for him. That's fantastic. So one tip for somebody who is looking to lose weight or basically get his health fixed, what would you suggest?
First thing I would say is unlearn. I know, it takes you've just a product of your experience. You're a product of whatever has been taught to you. You're a product of habit. Break out of that, right? Completely wipe off the slate. Forget everything that you've known so far. Because I used to be a gym rat myself. I thought that I know everything about nutrition or dieting or exercising, whatever you want to call it. But when I, got introduced to this school of thought, I realized that I didn't know anything at all. And that is the most difficult part, right? Because again, breaking out of a habit, breaking out of so many years of knowing what you know, that is the most difficult part. So once you make that transition, everything else will be much easier. This is what I assure you.
Wow, that's like a good tip for somebody planning to begin. So it's a pleasure, first of all, to get to hear from Nagvendra about his journey, and keep inspiring everybody. You already have with your splendid 25 kg loss, and keep inspiring, continue the good stuff, and well, that's all we had to, hear from him. Thank you.
Yeah, six packs coming up next.